Best audible yet of the preseason. I am joined by Up and Adams host Kay Adams. You are on a whirlwind training camp tour with like 20 stops.
I'm hugging you.
You have to. I love to see you too. Seriously.
This is amazing.
I know, because this wasn't exactly in the plan, but you were like, I have to make it to Indy.
We wanted it to be part of the plan. It's such a puzzle to put together because there's early morning practices and they get canceled and weather and who knows.
East Coast, West Coast, everywhere.
100%. Indy always part of the plan. Couldn't happen, but now we added Indy in the mix, which we love. We got here yesterday. Like you said, easiest airport alive.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Love it. Stayed at the Conrad downtown. Thanks to them for taking such good care of us last notice. And here we are.
Well, when you came in this morning, you were like, why are people sleeping on the Colts? Are people sleeping on the Colts?
Yeah, you don't think so?
Well, I want to know from your perspective because you're going national.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm in the trenches here, so I need you to tell me.
My perspective is that any injury makes everyone forget. Joe Burrow has talked about this a lot, right? He was injured. He feels forgotten. He's going to be shot out of a cannon. I have that same energy about the Colts. I do think we've never seen what Anthony Richardson is. We don't know. We look at him in college. I don't know what his celebration's going to be. I don't know.
It's the spike.
I don't
most
know.
Epic spike.
Yes,
but
is he bringing it to the NFL?
He did it a little bit last year when we were
great.
able to see it.
Let's keep it going.
Keep it going.
So those sort of questions, it seems like a bit of a mystery is the vibe, but I don't have a mystery. I have a coach who coached and schemed and called plays and engineered a 9-win playoff contending team where your star quarterback and your 1,800-yard rusher, Jonathan Taylor, played 2 measly snaps together.
Right.
So to me, this is a team that should not be slept on. It is the biggest falsity going on in the NFL right now. And I just can't wait for week 1 against the Texans. Let's go.
It's huge. I mean, right out of the gates. You're in the division, the team that bounced you from the playoffs last year.
Do we like that, though?
I love it. It forces you to be ready, right? Like, it's just,
Does any NFL team, know what they are week 1? I would a little bit rather it be, I think it'll be very emotional. You have players who, between even just Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, they are so probably hungry to get out there.
No question.
And then to put it into, Anthony and CJ. I think for me, as a fan, as a viewer, I love it. It'll be interesting to see. At the end of the game, will I have learned anything about the two teams, or in 6 weeks will they could be completely different?
I think you'll learn something by halftime. I mean, I think it'll be clearly indicated just with the way this is all going to have to shake out. And we've talked a lot about the continuity that there is on this roster. I mean, all of the guys who you spoke with on your visit here, guys who have been here, were at least here last season. Shane Steichen, a second year with him, and there is a vibe around this team right now that feels a little bit lighter. It seems like that this is the most fun that this group has had in a really long time. What was the vibe you got in talking with Shane and the various guys that you got to talk to out here about how they're feeling at this point in camp?
Humility, I would say, is a leading thing. Fun for sure. Defo rolled up on a scooter. On his off day.
Fat Scoots.
Yes, the Fat Scoots.
Whole D-line has them.
Yeah, playing awesome music here on an off day. Shane Steichen said that he let them sleep in a little bit more this morning. He's got big decisions he has to make about playing time and snaps and all that, and things he needs to learn in the preseason. But I've really got a sense of humbleness and enjoying being sort of the quiet before the storm. I do think week 1 is going to be a crazy matchup. I think this is an absolute playoff team. I put my stamp on that right now, the way it is. But I think some of that consistency is really going to help. But the truth is, it might not be a numbers game, but percentage of what it matters to not have your quarterback out there and your star rusher. That's going to be hugely different, and they're going to need some preseason reps to figure that out.
And you're calling it playoff team right now, and you said this weeks ago. You were doing a little Q&A on Instagram, and somebody was surprise playoff team, and you said rhymes with Schmaltz. And I'm like, yes, I love this. This was a month ago or something. And in talking with Joe Flacco last week, because he had a previous relationship with Shane prior to coming into this team, one of very few new additions that the Colts made, and he just said he can't wait to see Shane's offensive mind at work with Anthony Richardson in these game-like scenarios. You talk to head coaches all across the NFL. What do you like from your conversation with Shane, his fit with a second year with this team, just kind of the aura that he gives off?
I think I like what everybody else said about him. The second I brought up his name and him, I said, does he get enough credit? And right away, you have the glimmer in the eye, you have the smirk, you have somebody like Anthony Richardson, the quarterback, saying, I think he's a genius. That's what he said. He is a genius, and you can't help but believe that. I heard the words grit, edginess about this coach who really couldn't be more kind and warm and affable going into joint practices with a guy who was going to have an absolute chess match in Jonathan Gannon. We know, he's gotten the best out of quarterbacks like Phillip Rivers. We just saw what he did, obviously, in Philly, and he's got this, one of one in Anthony Richardson. In my opinion, the most gifted quarterback in the NFL. I had every player say it to me today. Name one that's more gifted. I guess, you could say whatever. But those two put together, the decisions of whether or not he's going to run through the air, do whatever, having Jonathan Taylor, having Quentin Nelson, it's about to go off. And don't sleep on this defense that's coming. That they, between Zaire and EJ Speed, I can just tell you the energy from these dudes. Defo, of course, in talking to them and having them on Up and Adams. This is a team that feels maybe a bit of a chip on their shoulder, even though I like that they're not admitting it.
You do? Why do you like it?
I just like the idea of underselling and over-delivering. Why say it? Just show it.
In so many of the teams that you talk with, though, you have these big personalities who aren't afraid to state it, right? Who aren't afraid to put it out there.
You can just say Tyreek Hill's name.
I mean, right? The whole, don't even get in the Noah Lyles conversation because I don't have time and space for that. But, this team, they're so humble. Do you feel like that is that good, or do you feel like that you want to see a little bit more bravado, or are you good with it?
It's there. Defo wants respect. I think his voice matters. I think he wants a Super Bowl. He'll do anything to get it.
Because he came so close in San Fran.
And of course,
right?
And he
eluded
puts it on himself. It's the whole thing. It's a whole it's a story arc that's impossible to root against. You want him to get it. Everything's here. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like the energy of I think Anthony Richardson wants to show it. I was trying to get what motivates him today. He said, I think I got to his family.
Oh, it's 100% his
family. I don't think it's fame, money. I don't think it's any of the things. He wants a Super Bowl, but he's doing it and putting on for his family.
Exactly, because of how hard his mom worked to put their family in a position for him to have the opportunities to play football and do all that. I also, in hearing from some of the other guys and talking to Michael Pittman Jr., he said that he thinks that Anthony's really motivated by seeing, what C.J. Stroud was able to do, what Will Levis was able to do for the Titans, those guys who were within that draft class, Bryce Young, right? There were so many quarterbacks that were right there, and Anthony was the one who didn't have a chance to show a full season, and so he's motivated.
Isn't that a good thing?
100%, but I just think that's something that maybe Anthony isn't maybe acknowledging quite as much, but that other guys around him aren't afraid to be like, yeah, he's motivated by this in a really good way. It's, not animosity in any sense, but you saw the mutual respect that CJ and Anthony had when they saw each other last season, and we'll see it right on the gates this year. Okay, best or most important question of the day, when do we get you back?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Somebody look, they sort of take me, like those things, the machines with the toys.
Oh, the claw machine.
So Kat is my claw in Hamilton, and they take me and they move me from place to place. I have officially no agency over my own life at this point, and so I would talk to them.
So I'll just, Kat, I've got your number.
Give me the game. Is it week 1?
There are a lot of really good ones. I think week 1 for sure. I also think,
where are we putting this rivalry?
I think Bears Colts week 3.
Where are we putting this rivalry?
I think that's really interesting.
Where are we putting Texans Colts as far as rivalries? I love a rivalry. I love it. I was trying to make the Packers Bears thing. I'm trying to drum that up, even though it's been 1-15.
Yeah, I think it's pretty high right now. I think that it's obviously Tennessee has always been one, and it's a little bit different this year.
People said bad blood.
With Tennessee?
No, with Texans.
Oh, just this way they spoiled it last year, and I think that even went to early in the season. That's the game that Anthony initially got hurt in, right? So there are a lot of storylines under the surface there that are bubbling up a little bit. So
Defo going up against DeMeco Ryans, that's a great little unheralded storyline in the mix of their team.
Yeah, I think that for a long time the narrative was Colts and Jags, it's been a difficult place to win. Going to Jacksonville has been hard, but I do get the sense with the new regime of these new coaches with these new young quarterbacks that this is starting to kind of become, at least on a national scale, the battle that everybody wants to see.
Give me the thing that you need me to be talking about. I depend on you. You are here. What is the thing that you want? Okay, talk about this more.
How scary this run game is to defend with Jonathan and Anthony Richardson.
Change the game.
I asked EJ Speed about this, about how well it prepares you when you have to account for both of those guys. You're going up against them. And he said, I cannot wait to watch this offense go to work. When we're off the field, when I'm on the bench, I'm not going to be sitting down because I want to see what those guys have to do with everything that's available. The entire playbook is open.
Cannot wait. It's going to be scary. And then Pittman will get open. And you don't have a receiver, I think, who barks for the ball here, which is rare and amazing and super helpful for an Anthony Richardson as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're all like very team-centric. Like
Mitchell looks good.
AD is great. He's been a great addition to that room. The dynamic in there is super fun. Like, how can you not have a fun room with Reggie Wayne? Like, and Pitt's vocal when he needs to be, but he's very selective. He's lead by example, but then he also can be vocal. He strikes that perfect balance of exactly what you need with what is primarily a really young, group with like Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, AD Mitchell, and then Pitt's your elder statesman.
Who's the OG? Who is who did Pittman say? It was Phillip Rivers when he was here, and then who did he say took over?
Buckner.
Is Buckner the old head?
Yeah, I think Buck or Ryan Kelly. Like, Ryan Kelly's your longest tenured Colt. He's your center. Like, those are the guys who, they're like in their 30s. They've got kids. They're like the established, like, they're kind of the father figures, right? A little bit, like, very steady, all of that. Yeah.
I'll say this with the Colts, and it was a very short thing, but Anthony Richardson said it, and I got one of those chills that you only get energetically, and he just said, "I'm here now." That's my takeaway. I'm here now, and just put that in your whatever and whatever it. Like, that's the story of this Indianapolis Colts team.
He told me a couple weeks ago coming into camp, I want to prove that I'm back. He's going in with something to prove this season, for sure.
I love it.
So, I love you.
Make me look smart, Colts. Let's do this. Let's do this, Shane Steichen. Thank you.
You've manifested
When are
it.
you coming to LA?
You name the time.
Did you play
I'm
in
there.
LA? I didn't play there last year. We missed it.
We don't
But
play
you did
in LA.
last year, right?
What was that? A couple years ago. We didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple years
We got
ago.
to schedule makers. We got to talk. We
Yeah,
got to figure this out.
you've got an in with Goodell, right? Make this happen.
Totally. Yeah, we're just speed dialing.
We'll make it happen for sure.
Okay. With Kaylin Jackson anywhere, I feel like she's got some pull.
Oh, we'll bring her.
Good.